Picture this. Your adventuring party has just reached the heart of a temple, hidden in the ruins outside of a village. The villagers, desperate to protect themselves from a looming dark force, have entrusted you with safeguarding a powerful magical artifact, a holy relic, said to give any who possess it godlike powers. This small town has hidden this relic for centuries from those who may be tempted to take it for their own benefit, for truly it is their only hope of keeping the evil at bay. The weight of this responsibility is heavy, and everyone in the party knows just how much is at stake. But then, one of your fellow players sees an opportunity. Instead of thinking of the villagers, they see the artifact as a means to gain unimaginable power for themselves. Without warning, they snatch the relic, disrupting the protective wards keeping the dark forces at bay. As the temple begins to tremble, dark, ominous clouds begin to form over the village. The party is now scrambling and horrified at the betrayal. What should have been a victory is now a disaster, all because one player's greed overrode the party's mission. The campaign now spirals into chaos, and everyone at the table is left more frustrated than entertained. And to make matters worse, when you ask them why they decided to do this, they shrug their shoulders and they utter that ever so common phrase, "I'm evil. That's what my character would do." I'm Saya from Tabletop Mayhem, and if you enjoy these tips, tricks, and story building advice, please be sure to subscribe and hit that bell so you don't miss out. Today we're going to dive into a topic that can spark some serious debate at the table. Playing evil-aligned characters. Do you allow your players to play evil-aligned characters in your campaigns? Why do you want to play an evil-aligned character? And does it make sense? I'm here to give you 5 solid reasons why playing an evil-aligned character may be more trouble than it's worth, with one exception. Let's get into it. Before we dive into why playing an evil-aligned character in D&D might not be the best idea, we should define what an evil alignment is in Dungeons & Dragons. In D&D, an alignment helps us define a moral compass of a character and how they're going to interact and respond to things in the world. When we're talking about evil, we're talking about a character that prioritizes their desires, their power, their ambitions above anything else, often at the expense of others. But not all evil characters are the same. In D&D, evil alignments come in 3 categories: lawful evil, neutral evil, and chaotic evil. They each have their own flavor of wickedness. Let's look at lawful evil. Lawful evil characters would be cold-hearted tyrants that believe in order and rules as long as those rules serve themselves. A lawful evil character believes in structure and order, but uses it for their own gain. They follow codes, traditions, or laws, but twist them to serve their selfish or malicious goals. Think of a tyrant who rules with an iron fist, exploiting the system to maintain and control. Like a villainous king who enforces strict laws, not for justice, but to maintain that his people are oppressed and that his power is absolute. Then there's neutral evil, the ultimate opportunist. These characters don't care about laws, they only care about what they want, and they will do anything to get it, no matter the cost. Picture an assassin who will kill for the highest bidder, or a traitor who will sell his friends without a second thought for a little bit of power or wealth. Neutral evil characters are all about themselves. They don't play around with any rules. It's all about getting what they want. They're willing to hurt, betray, or manipulate anyone if it means achieving their goals. This feels like a really trustworthy person you want watching your back in a dangerous situation, right? Wrong. Last and definitely the most scary is chaotic evil, mostly because they are the embodiment of destruction and mayhem. These characters live for chaos and thrive on violence. They're the type of characters that would just burn down a village because it sounded like fun, or betray their allies just because they felt like it. They act accordingly to their whims with no regard to rules, authority, or even their own safety. There's no rhyme to reason with their actions, just pure, unrestrained malice. These characters are bat crazy. Now, I want to quickly clarify the difference between playing an evil character and playing a character with a flaw, a character who has done something morally evil or has made an evil choice. The distinction between a character who has flaws and makes mistakes versus an evil character lies in their motivation, their intentions, and their overall alignment with the party's goals. Here's a quick breakdown on the differences. The first being motivation or intent. Flawed characters act out of fear or pride or other imperfections, but ultimately their goals still align with the party's goals. Evil characters are driven by selfish or malicious intent, where they prioritize their personal gain over the party's well-being. The second is the impact to the group. Flawed characters' mistakes do cause conflict, but they also create opportunities for growth and redemption. Evil characters' mistakes, their actions, cause long-lasting harm, undermine trust, and can derail a campaign. Lastly is their role in the narrative. Flawed characters can add a depth, a realism, and they're contributing to the story. Human beings are incredibly complex, and this can also be reflected in D&D characters. Evil characters act like the antagonist of the story. Their actions, their decisions, cause a lot of the internal struggle of the story. A flawed character's mistake, often stemming from human imperfection, serves in enriching the story, in offering growth and development. An evil character's actions go against the group's interest, can be incredibly harmful, and undermines the campaign. Alright, finally, the 5 reasons why playing an evil character in a campaign just doesn't work. So while each evil alignment has their own style, they all share a common theme. While they both add a complexity, the former fosters storytelling, and the second one usually just pisses everyone off in-game as well as outside the game. Selfishness, cruelty, and the willingness to harm others to get what they want. Those reasons are what makes playing evil-aligned characters so tricky in a game that promotes teamwork and collaborative storytelling. It leads to so many issues. Let's get into what those issues are and why. The first is conflict with party goals. Most D&D campaigns are all about teamwork, working together to defeat the bad guy, to save the day, and to become heroes. But what happens when you have an evil-aligned character in the mix? Suddenly, those common goals can clash with this character's darker ambitions. Imagine your party is trying to rescue a bunch of villagers from their village that's on fire, but now you have an evil character that decides that he's going to extort the villagers. He will only save them if he can be paid to do so. This kind of conflict can really derail a story, and it makes it really hard for the players to want to work together as a group. Remember that D&D is a collaborative game, and if your players are constantly at odds with each other, it's going to be a rough ride. The second is disruptive behavior. Evil-aligned characters are notorious for disruptive behavior. Stealing from party members, betraying allies, sabotaging missions just for your own personal gain. Even though these may make sense to the evil-aligned character, it's also a surefire way to create an incredible amount of tension and frustration at the table. Imagine spending hours working on a plan with your group, only to have it blow up in your face in a matter of seconds of trying to implement it because your evil-aligned teammate decided that's not what his character would do. It's one thing to roleplay a morally gray, evil-aligned character, but if your actions consistently hurt the group, it's no longer fun for anyone else. The third reason is that they're just awful characters. Not morally. Well, yes, morally, but they do tend to be really one-dimensional, and the players who play them tend to really fight wanting to grow or develop into something more or better. They really are just kind of boring if they're not causing problems. Let's talk about the edgelord trope. You know the type. Dark, brooding, a little mysterious, wants to work on his own. Playing a character with a little bit of edge can be incredibly interesting. I do find that evil-aligned characters do fall into this stereotype, but they end up being a little bit more one-dimensional and frankly cliche. I am not saying that edgelords are evil characters. I am just stating that edgelord and evil-aligned characters tend to share some of the same characteristics, as in prioritizing their own drama over the group story, not sharing their backstories, not wanting to bond or open up with their party in any way. They both tend to not participate in group decisions or group discussions because their character just doesn't care. And if your character's only personality trait is being evil, it's gonna get old real fast. The fourth reason is that it breaks immersion. It really does. Let's look at a typical D&D party. A party that is set off to right the wrongs, to protect the innocent, maybe earn some gold while they're doing it. You throw an evil character into the mix, you have to ask yourself, why would this group of heroes travel with someone who would constantly backstab them, lie, steal, and harm others? They wouldn't. It doesn't make sense. Sure, they'll tolerate it for a little while, but it's gonna feel unnatural and very forced. If you want your character to fit into the story, to fit into a party, evil alignment is not the way to go. And lastly, it may be fun for you, but it's not fun for anyone else. Dungeons and Dragons should be fun. Everyone at the table should be enjoying themselves. We come together and we tell a story collaboratively, and we're supposed to be building these epic moments together. Playing an evil-aligned character really is just uncomfortable, disruptive, and really frustrating, not only to the players, but also to a DM. If your character is causing more headaches than fun, it's time to reconsider. After all, D&D is about the collective experience. And if your actions are consistently making it less enjoyable for everyone else, you are missing the point of the game. Now, the exception. The one exception for all of this is a monster campaign or a bad guy campaign, where everyone in the party has an evil alignment. Here, everyone shares the same dark motivation. The campaign goals revolve around power, domination, or chaos. Everyone is on the same page. The narrative is designed around these darker themes, making a unique and interesting but cohesive experience, not a disruptive one. In this campaign, evil actions are expected, and the story is built up around their ambitions. This creates a different type of storytelling where betrayal, ruthlessness, greed are part of the fun and not a source of frustration. And these can be so much fun. Well, there you have it. What it means to be evil and 5 reasons why we should probably stop playing evil characters in Dungeons and Dragons, except for monster campaigns. If you've never done a monster campaign, they're super fun. I'm really curious though, do you let your players play evil characters in your campaigns? Have you played an evil character? How did it go for you? I'm really curious to know, so please leave a comment below describing your experiences and your thoughts. As always, thank you so much for watching and happy adventuring.